Hey guys, it's Lauren Menardi with Breezeway Productions, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different tonight. We are here at the green carpet at the Earth Focus Environmental Film Festival at Paramount Studios. We're going to be talking to some incredible talent, so stick with us. So this is LA's first time having the Environmental Film Festival. What's your involvement in it, and how did you hear about it?
Well, I'm hosting tonight, so I'm super excited.
You'll have the microphone.
I will, which, you know, I always like other people to have the microphone, but it's such a great event, and we're so happy to finally have an environmental film festival here in LA. And Saturday is going to have an entire day of free documentary films about relevant topics to our environment, to our world, at the Egyptian, which is so beautiful and wonderful. And my involvement stems from the fact that I made a documentary about the elephant crisis, poaching crisis, called Gardeners of Eden, and I screened it at a film festival in DC called the Environmental Film Festival. I love them so much. It was the most amazing group of people and organization, and they helped organize the Los Angeles Earth Focus Film Festival.
So what would you say the next steps are as a nation to protect the environment? What do we need to do next?
We need to inform ourselves. We need to hold our leaders' feet to the fire. They need to do the right thing. They need to serve the people. We have to convince the media that we will not accept their lies and their fair and balanced bullcrap that they put out there as though they don't have a position, because they are the mouthpieces of the status quo and of corporations and of the ruling class. And if they pass themselves off, you know, the New York Times, our supposed paper of record, is really directed at about 30,000 people who are at the very upper tier. If you don't believe that, take a look at the travel section and the arts. So they're really not interested. So what we have to do is say, okay, where am I going to get my news from? Who do I believe? Go to Amy Goodman. Go to Sonali Kahatkar. Go to Truth Dig. Go to the Young Turks. The truth is being screamed out. Only the corporate media is oblivious to this and still feeding us the same crock as before.
So tell me about your involvement in the film festival here.
I'm just thrilled to have been invited. Sharon Lawrence is a great friend of mine, and she's also one of the hosts of the event. And she just said, hey, you really should come out and support this cause. And I said, absolutely. How did I not know about this before? Yes, I'm there. So here I am.
So what brought you out to this festival?
Oh, well, KCET, actually, and Pete Hammond. I'm a big fan of Pete's. I've known him for many years. And I've always been behind KCET. I think we all have. So I think it's really, we have a great turnout, and I'm so glad people have turned out for this spectacular first night of this film festival, you know.
And the first,
I'm anxious to see this film tonight. Yeah, you know, I've been very interested in this conversation that Mr. Gore has been having, you know, forever. So I'm gonna.
And it's the first LA Environmental Film Festival, the first one that we're doing. So hopefully we can have more and more.
I mean, you know, the thing is, if you don't take care of your environment, you know,
what are we gonna have?
We'll pay the piper.
What would be your advice to someone who, you know, isn't very knowledgeable about the environment or how they can make a change?
Don't litter. Try not to litter. It's finite. There's 7 billion of us. It's a big strain on the earth, and it's finite. Our resources they don't go on forever.
So tell me about a time that you realized you were really passionate about the environment.
You know, I remember when I was in grade school, reduce, reuse, and recycle came out, and it was really big in school to separate our garbage. And I think ever since then, it was instilled in me in like the 3rd grade that it was so important. And I'm from San Francisco, so living in California, we're all about going green and keeping our environment safe and doing anything we can do personally and socially, you know, to help the environment.
What's your involvement in activism or?
I've actually been doing a few environmental stories for SoCal Connected with KCET, and my story about Chiquita Canyon, which is going to be the nation's largest landfill right in our backyard, just aired this week as well. So I've been doing a few environmental stories for us.
And where can people check that out?
Oh, KCET, Tuesdays, 8 p.m.
You know, my thing is always you do what you can. Do you know what I mean? And if everybody, with what you have, if everybody does a bit, just a little bit, it will have an impact.
That's such good advice, I think, in all.
Just start with one thing. One thing that you just go, okay, we went over to glass. That's what in our house, we just like got rid of the plastic cups, the plastic containers, that, and then, you know, you move on to something else, and it just...
Little things become big things.
They do.
So what would you tell someone who is your age, you know, how can they get involved, how can they make a change?
Yeah, so I always like to remind people that we are mostly water, and I think that we've sort of lost touch with the whole idea of water. Water has become a resource, and so we consume water bottles like it's nothing, and just the very consumption of water allows us to remove ourselves from the fact that it is part of life. So I always say to people, if you want to make a difference, then just stop buying water. Get a water bottle and start drinking tap water, because there are people in this world who don't have that, and it's quite a privilege that we can turn on a tap and have fresh water.
How did you get involved in the organization?
Raphael Sabarge, who is such a great connector and so dedicated to the things that he's passionate about, and he does understand communication, and that's one of the things that Greenwich does best is help communicate the story of these small nonprofits. And I've been involved with big nonprofits, the NRDC and Global Green, and I'm on the board of Heal the Bay, but the smaller grassroots ones will really change the way most of us live our everyday lives.
So what are some practices that you do at home with your girls to teach them of how to keep the environment safe?
Well, you know, we haven't gotten to the shower stage yet.
What's the shower stage?
Well, I always think of a teenage girl in the shower forever, and they're knocking on the door saying, "Leave the hot water." We're not there yet, but we do when we brush our teeth, we turn our water off. We always do that. Little things like that. Also, shut the door. Turn the thermostat down, you know, all those little bits. Recycling, they know the blue cans, the green cans, and the brown cans. And my daughters actually will be walking. We were in New York City, and my daughter kept stopping to pick up trash. She goes, "Daddy, there's trash. Daddy, there's trash." I'm like, "Honey, you single-handedly cannot clean up New York City." But the impetus is there for her. She's like, "Trash is bad. That's not good." So who knows how long that sticks. Hopefully that becomes just an ingrained habit in their life to want to pick up and clean up after themselves.
I'm a big believer in the dangers of global warming, and I thought An Inconvenient Truth was such a remarkable movie, and to have this coming out, so that was, you know, when I first heard about it, that was my initial reason. But I think it's so important if people would just listen to what's being said to them or told to them. And my husband has been very active in all activist things, and I wasn't raised that way, but after we got married, I started being involved in things. I went, oh, well, that sounds good. Anyway, so that's how I originally got here. But it's hopefully just to be here, and also to add whatever my voice can do to encourage people to believe that there is global warming and that we have to do whatever we can to stop it.
When was the time that you realized you were passionate about this?
You know, I started Greenwich about 10 years ago, and it was really with the birth of my daughter, and really looking around as a parent, wanting to sort of figure out what we can do as you know, we're leaving this world to our kids, and what can we do to make it just a little bit better? There's so much need. It's so easy to get overwhelmed. It's also so easy to get kind of to apathy because there's so much bad news. So how can we find actions and ways in which we can connect with people so they can actually do positive things and feel better and feel like they are contributing and maybe doing something that's uplifting? That's of course also what I'm excited about the movie tonight, which is apparently the first film was a warning, and hopefully tonight we get to sort of talk about some of the uplifting things that are happening, and some of the progress that's going on, which is so important to remember.
So we're here at the Environmental Film Festival. What is something that you would tell someone your age about how to care for the environment?
I'm not sure how I'd organize a pitch, but the basis of it would be our world is changing. We need to do something about it. Veganism is an incredible way to start. I would start with vegetarianism, because take it one step at a time. A great way to start is Meatless Mondays. Just one day of the week, just no meat, figure out how it works, and then eventually, if you see you survive, you try and go to 2 days. And then you do that for a while, and if you're feeling out there, you go to 3. and eventually you end up going full-on vegetarian, and then over time that sometimes can digress into vegan.
Guys, we just talked to so much talent on the green carpet, and they are all so passionate about the environment. What an incredible film festival. You're watching Breezeway Productions, and I'm your host, Lauren Menargi.